Last night's loss to the Edmonton Oilers was beyond unacceptable.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen.
Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about the team that didn't score any goals last night. Today on Locked On Blues, I want to talk to you about last night's contest and why it was so bad and why I'm actually so enraged. Who is to blame? Okay, who is to blame for how the St. Louis Blues have been performing lately? And then finally, a coaching change that I have never really seen before that we need to talk about. We have a lot coming up today here on the show, so make sure to stay tuned. And I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The wildcard round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. I hope all of you have had a really good Monday. For me, I woke up annoyed after last night's contest. The Blues were not able to find any goals last night. They weren't able to produce any good and efficient defense last night. And the power play, well, the Blues should just ask the refs if they can just cancel it out because they don't do a single thing that's productive on the power play. There are a lot of problems with the Blues. We have Dylan Holloway back, which is a really good thing. I love Hollywood Holloway. But we can't put everything on Dylan Holloway just returning to the lineup after he's been dealt injury. We also need to be realistic about our expectations. And last night's game, you know why it annoyed me the most? It is because of the effort level. I didn't see much effort for most of the players except a handful. And it was, in my opinion, an all Edmonton game to where I saw Edmonton take charge. I saw Edmonton have control. And yes, of course, on paper, Edmonton is the better team. They're not having the best season, but they are the better team. The Blues. The Blues need to get it together because honestly, it's pathetic hockey. It is. I could go on and on about how annoyed I am about what happened last night. What I will say, though, is that Jordan Binnington was in net. And with Jordan Binnington in net, I was, one, happy that they didn't put Hofer in because, again, sometimes you have to eat the losses, right? But the other issue that I have is this. He did make some good saves. It's easy to rip on Jordan Binnington right now because of what's going on with him. It's easy to do that, and I understand. But at the same time, too, this season, it's not good. It's not good. His save percentage for this season is .869, below 500. And that's not like him. He's usually an above 900 goalie, so not like him. But what frustrated me was the defense, or shall I say lack of defense, in front of Jordan Binnington last night. I didn't see anything productive defensively. I didn't. I think it's really easy for us to blame the guy that has to stand between the two pipes, but the responsibility, it's also on the defense. And that's why, for me personally, I'm as frustrated as I am because we have Colton Parayko -3 last night. Not so good, is it? No, it isn't. What I will say, too, is the hits. Okay? 1 hit from Parayko and 4 hits from Logan Mailloux. So I'll give, you know what? I'll give Logan some credit in the fact that he was more aggressive. I'll give him credit on that. But nonetheless, if you're going to lose, might as well put in some more effort. And again, Tyler Tucker, you need to be super careful when it comes to drawing penalties. Last night, Tux created a slashing penalty against Zach Heyman. And the reason why I'm emphasizing how you need to be careful is that at the end of the day, opponents know what players are going to be more susceptible to be causing penalties. And I feel like he might have that reputation. Now, again, do I think that the reason why the Blues are not playing well is because of Tyler Tucker? No. I think that there's a collective to it. I think that this is a team with a lot of problems. And it does make me wonder how you prepare to take on the Winnipeg Jets tomorrow. Because the Jets, they're not that good of a team this season. They're actually last right now in the Central. But here's the thing. I still feel like the Blues are going to lose because that's who this team is. This isn't a team that is playing with maximum effort. They're not. And Jordan Kyrou last night with the turnovers, it was driving me insane. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It really did feel like no one showed up. Now, we talk a lot about Oscar Sundqvist on this podcast because I'm a defender of Sonny. I like Sonny. Do I feel like he was good on the power play? No. But do I think he's good playing even strength hockey? Yeah. And I feel like, again, you have to sometimes look at the coaching staff and ask them what they're doing rather than the players, because the players at the end of the day, they're not the ones making the decisions as to which lines they're on or the decisions as to what special teams they're on, if that. I think that there is a time and a place where we do have a conversation about the coaching of this team going forward. I do. I like Montgomery. I respect him. But is this the right coach that's going to help this team get out of this drought? I don't know. I don't have the answers to that because I don't know what's going on with the Blues. The Blues have been nothing but disappointing. And last night, that to me, and I know that maybe for you, you felt this way games prior, but last night to me was sort of like the final straw because I said once we get a healthy Dylan Holloway back, maybe we'll show some life again. We didn't. We did not do that. And I think that's why it was so frustrating because we're a relatively healthy team now. I know that we don't have RT18, but we're still a relatively healthy team. So you can't use the injuries as an excuse. You simply can't. And if you're using the injuries as an excuse, please, I am telling you, open your eyes and look at this team for how it is because they are showing you who they are. They're not playing any games right now. You know exactly who the 2025-26 St. Louis Blues are. A team that is not a playoff team and a team that is going to disappoint. But last night, I went in being a little bit optimistic, and you know what? My optimism truly served me wrong. I should have been more realistic about what I was going to see. And it is embarrassing because I don't necessarily like how some of the Oilers fan base treated Dylan Holloway last season when he couldn't play in the playoffs. And, you know, they're very hard on Holloway and Broberg with how they're doing. And I get it because those were your guys who you developed, and I get it. So in my mind, as a Blues fan, I'm like, okay, we got a little bit of beef with Edmonton, and there is no fight at all. So I'm hoping tomorrow night there'll be a little bit more fight as it's the team that eliminated you in the playoffs. I just don't feel as if this team has that mentality. And that is why coming up next, we need to address who is to blame. Who is to blame for what's going on this season. Well, I did ask a lot of you on X/Twitter at Locked On Blues, and we're going to dive into that. But we need to really digest the problem. And the problem is this team, it's not putting in the effort. They're not working well together. So, how do we fix the problem? What's the solution? So, coming up next, we will talk about just that. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to win on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets you like the most. The boost gives you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boost makes your bets feel that way too. You make the picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. I want to tell you something that, in my opinion, is really cool. And in my opinion, is something that you should all look into and get. And that is the Everydayer Club that we are offering. Not only can you listen to Locked On Blues without any ads, you also get an exclusive Discord where you can chat with everybody, whether it's hockey, football, baseball, basketball, college sports, and so much more. And the best part is, as I mentioned, only $5. It is basically a steal. There's no commitment. So if you want to check it out for a month, you can. You're not locked in for a year, even though that'd be kind of a cool thing. So make sure to check out the Everydayer Club for Locked On Blues down below. And the link is going to be in the description if you're on YouTube or if you're listening on a podcasting form. The description with a link will be on there as well. And I hope to see you guys a part of the Everydayer Club. It's a lot of fun, so come join the action. Who is to blame for what's going on with the Blues? Well, I did mention that I asked you on social media because one thing I love doing is talking to all of you about the Blues on socials because it allows me to vent without necessarily screaming into the mic like I do on here sometimes. So I asked a series of questions. So I'm going to start off with question number 1. Is Jordan Binnington the problem? And feel free to comment down below any of your answers on any of these questions. 33% of you said yes. 61% of you said no, and 6% said others. So let's dive into this. We have Code who says he definitely is a part of the problem, but the skaters allowing every high danger chance ever seen in hockey to happen almost every game he plays doesn't help. And I want to answer that by saying this. In last night's game, it was so evident, but this has been the story all season. It's been the defense not doing their job. You leave the ice completely open for the opposing team, and it's not like this is a one-off thing. This literally happens every time Binnington is in net. Not so much when Hofer's in net, which is kind of interesting. So something to keep a note of. We have Tanya, who says, I don't think he is the problem, but I definitely think he is a problem. Knowing what he's capable of and what he does done in other seasons, it seems like he's giving up this year for sure. And it's really interesting that Tanya mentioned that, right? Because Binnington has been so clutch for us so many times. We think about when we won the cup, right? You think about the Four Nations. I know that's not for us, but you think about the Four Nations last year. You think about so many things that he's done where he does exemplify how great of a player he is. I think that there is a difference, though, with Jordan Binnington, the regular season goalie, versus Jordan Binnington, the playoff goalie / high stakes goalie. I think for whatever reason, and this is my opinion, if he's put in a situation where it's a must win, do or die type of scenario, he's going to play lights out. Something happens with him to where he just plays like a completely different person. So I do think that Tanya is right in what she is saying. Joe said, worst offense in the league, worst defense in the league, worst goalie in the league, worst special teams in the league, worst coaching in the league, and top contracts doing absolutely nothing. He is one of many problems. Joe, it's kind of like you read my mind when you curated that comment, because there's really nothing good about this team besides a Dvorsky, a Snuggerud, and a Stenberg, who have been the highlights of my season thus far. So I do agree with Joe. We have Sai, who says, yes, in the sense that every single player is the problem. That would include him. And then we also have Serge, who says he is not the problem, but Hofer is closer to the solution. I think the team just plays differently when Hofer is on ice, which is kind of weird, right? Like, you would think that the defense would be more buckled down when the starting goalie is in net rather than the backup, but hey, I don't know what's going on. The second question I asked was, what do the Blues need to work on? I have at 9% power play. At 0%, it is penalty kill. At 6%, it is full strength. But taking the cake at 85%, it is everything shaking my head. Because that's the truth. So you can't argue with that one. Then I put, who is the main problem on defense? We have Justin Folk with 0%, which I found really interesting. We have Logan Mayu with 46%, and both tied with 27% is Tyler Tucker and Cam Fowler. I said that I didn't put on Broberg and Parayko just because I didn't necessarily think that they were the biggest problems. But then we have somebody that commented Parayko, and we then got told everybody on defense is an issue, which I get. And then this is the big question, right? Who will the Blues trade at the deadline? At 64%, we have Justin Folk. At 5%, RT18 Robert Thomas. We then at 16% have Jordan Binnington. And at 15%, it's Captain Braden Shen. We have somebody said one of those are not like the others. We also had Locked On Cardinals, JD from Locked On Cardinals, that kind of talked about their rumors with the trades. And again, thank you for everybody that participated today. I love being able to talk to you all and get your feedback on what's happening with our hockey team or what's not happening with our hockey team. There has been a lot of rumors about potentially trading Robert Thomas. I don't agree. I don't think that's a solution. As I talked about on my episode Friday, I think that would actually kill this core group of players. I don't think that that would be beneficial. You know, if Robert Thomas was a 2C or a 3C, that would be different. But he's a 1C, man. Come on. Every player has not so great seasons. I'm not defending it. But at the same time, I mean, it just wouldn't, the return that you would get from him wouldn't be substantial enough, okay? Unless it's like a really crazy trade, then in that case, okay. But I doubt anything substantial will come from that. I do think, though, and I was saying this to JD from Locked On Cardinals, I do think that Justin Folk, out of any player on the team, will be traded. I know there's been talks about Captain Braden Shen. I know there's been those rumors about Jordan Binnington. I know there's been rumors about Parayko and Thomas and Kyrou. But if you really buckle down and you think about it logically, Justin Folk isn't expensive. He does add value, and he could be a great third pair defenseman for a contending team. He still has that value. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that that is my main trade prediction. Now, I did talk about how I believe that the Blues will be sellers at the deadline and not buyers. And I said that I feel like, in my opinion, that there might be a player that we're not expecting to be moved, but will be moved. And I don't know who that's going to be. But what I can tell you is I think everybody does expect it to be Justin Folk that is traded at the deadline. At least one of the trades. Multiple things can happen. And speaking of things happening, a move took place today that has us all kind of questioning, well, hey, what is going on? But I'll talk to you about that on the other side. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. What When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. According to Indeed's data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a 75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. I had my whole show planned out today. I was going to talk about the game last night and more specifics. But something took place that left me a little bit stunned, as this was a decision I did not see coming, a decision that I was genuinely surprised with. And that is that today it was announced that Steve Ott will be taking over the head coaching role for the T-Birds for the remainder of the season. Now, this all kind of came when the T-Birds did get rid of their coach. It was Steve Kanalchuk. And here's the thing. I did not expect somebody from the Blues bench to be sent down, right? I I thought it was going to be Chad Wiseman, who is the assistant coach for the Thunderbirds, but no, they have Steve Ott doing it. So what I will say is this, is that Steve Ott has been with the organization for like a decade. You don't hear anything bad from him, right? So, I mean, it can't be any worse, but I want to read some of this statement because this was very interesting. We look forward to Steve Ott taking over in Springfield to push our young players to get better every day and further their development path to become St. Louis Blues. The current staff will take over his duties with the Blues for the rest of the season. So again, Ott, as I mentioned, was a decade, 9 seasons behind the bench after joining the staff as an assistant in the summer of 2017. Wow, that was almost 10 years ago. Sorry, that ooh. During that really like took me by surprise. Um but again, he was very instrumental, right, in helping the Blues get that Stanley Cup, right? So he's done a lot of good things. Ott, if you didn't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't know this, he did play for 14 years in the NHL. He did play with the Blues from 2014 to 2016. So he's been with teams such as Dallas, Buffalo, Detroit, and Montreal besides that. So this is very interesting to me. You don't see this. But the statement from Doug Armstrong, it makes me, and this is again my opinion, it makes me feel like they've kind of moved on from the success of the 25-26 Blues and more so, how can we develop the younger prospects that we have in Springfield? Because those will be the guys that we can find success with. That's what it seems like to me, because that is a crazy, crazy move to move somebody who's been behind the bench for 9 seasons to your AHL affiliate so that way they can work on getting the younger guys to develop. That just seems like Doug said, you know what, we're throwing in the white towel, white flag, whatever you want to call it. We're done. We're done with this season. The Blues, not a playoff team. Let's focus on tanking for the draft. Now, do I think it's that detrimental? No, I don't. I thought it was weird. I definitely was like, wait, this is a little odd. I haven't seen something like this before. But again, I don't know if it's something that's as surprising as I understand that right now. I mean, the T-Birds have been struggling. It hasn't been so great. And I do feel like this is actually going to be a good opportunity for Steve Ott. And then Coach Montgomery said, quote, he's going to really help develop our prospects, and for himself, his personal growth in these next 3 months is going to be extreme for him in an extremely positive way. And this is a really big deal too, because this move, I mean, it is positive for Steve, but is this a bigger issue? Is there a problem between Montgomery and his staff? No, I don't think so. But I'm only saying that because this is also very weird too, in a sense. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, how do you have an assistant coach, right? I don't know. Like, what is going on with the staff? Do you think that the staff is going to be intact? Do you think that this is going to be a staff that you're going to see remain the same next season? Most likely not. But are they giving Steve Ott a chance in case he can't be an assistant coach again? I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, but what I do know is that something might be up, and maybe they're just testing things out. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. This was a little bit weird to me. I don't even think it's a little bit weird. It is weird. So let me know your thoughts down below on that. Before I end today's episode, I do want to remind you all, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you check out the Everydayer Club link down below. Again, $5 a month, no commitment, ad-free episode, video form, and podcasting form. And the best part on top of that is that Discord I told you about, where you can talk with fans from all over about all the different sports. So please make sure to check out that Everydayer Club down below. And if you do, tell me about it. I want to know. All right. Make sure to also, I know shameless on promo, but follow on Twitter at Locked On Blues, where you can get some very candid Blues conversations from me during the games. And with that being said, how I end every single episode, let's go Blues.